What's up, guys? It's Shao here for the Team Fantasy Football League Commissioner Cody. We're back with your Week 4 preview and the Power Rankings reveal. There has been quite a bit of movement. If you haven't watched my last video, I highly suggest you do. There was a ton of energy involved, and there was a ton of upsets going on. Lots of stuff to watch. I highly recommend you just pause this video and you go watch that. Anyway, let's move on. We're going to start off with I guess we'll start off with the power rankings, just to get them out of the way. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of flack. There was a ton of things that happened last week. I obviously don't have a system together yet. It's still in the works in progress. Not as much effort as I had hoped the first week, but we're getting there. It's fine. There's still some stuff going on. Our power rankings, we're just going to go straight 1 through 16. Actually, no, we'll go 16 through 1 because I have a feeling that there has been a shakeup in the top and the bottom. So we'll just start. Number 16, Jay put up the dud of the week with, I think it was like 123 last week, and 0-3, unfortunately, for Jay. Hopefully he can... I'm not going to keep going into recaps. I don't know why I did that. Number 15, Phil. Two-time defending champion, Phil. Sorry, buddy. 14, Jerry. 13, Joe. 12 is Will. 11 is Dylan, 10 is Greg, 9 is Kyle, 8 is Brandwagon, 7 is Hobert, 6 is Craig, 5 is Doug, 4 is Cody, 3 is Liam, 2 is Scott, and 1 is Eric. Wow, Doug went from 16 to 5. That's how much I love what Doug did last week. Not enough to get past the old Codester, but 16 to 5 is a steal. Probably a lot of controversy because I put up 156 points and I'm still at number 4. I'm still 3-0 and I don't care what anybody has to say about it. I don't think I'm going to do that again next week. If I do it again next week, I promise you I'll punish myself. But come on. You guys know I take myself not very seriously. You guys know I grade myself just as difficult as I do you guys. So I'm giving myself 1 week because I can. Moving on. Kyle moved all the way up to number 9. As happy as I was with Kyle's upset, he is ahead of Greg, who fell from number 1 all the way to number 9, which is mind-blowing. Only because that's just where I'm sorry, number 10 is where Greg is at. Kyle's at number 9. Kyle beat Greg, so I just put Kyle there. I just have fun with it. Moving on. It doesn't matter. It's the most irrelevant ranking in the entire world. So if you get upset with me about it, I don't fucking care. Moving on. Well, starting off, we have our two-time defending champion, Phil. But this matchup is a rematch of our week 1 matchup because they're in the same division. Two-time defending champion Scott versus two-time champion Scott versus two-time defending champion Phil. 2 different stories to 2 different seasons, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen. 3-0 Scott. Off a dominant 3-0 win. Shout out to Scott. Versus Phil. 0-3. Coming off a heartbreak. Just can't seem to put it together this year. Very humbling experience, in quotes, from Phil. Sorry, Phil. I'm sorry. As you know, this is after the Thursday night game. It wasn't anything spectacular that necessarily happened, I think, that is going to change anything, from now till then that, I could, it's fine that I'm doing it after Thursday night. It was the Bengals and the fucking Jaguars. Nobody cares. Anyway, number 2, Scott versus number 15, Phil. This is like an NCAA bracket. You have 2 versus 15. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Scott is projected 192.7 to Phil's 201. Scott has 9.32 points from his Bengals defense. Oh, that's a disappointing performance there. Phil has yet to have anybody. As I did before, I'm going to go through, just name some things that I think may or may not happen. That may be intriguing, may not, and then we'll move on. It was pretty quick last time. Hopefully it's going to be quick this time. Tom Brady in New England, that's a big deal. Anybody that has any Buccaneers on your team, make sure you start Tom Brady. Oh, I'm sorry, not just Tom Brady. Any Buccaneers you have, start any Buccaneer you have, because Tom Brady's going to probably throw for 5 or 6 touchdowns, 400 yards, and maybe he'll run for 100 yards just because he's in Foxborough. Why the hell not? Anyway, I digress. Looking at what Scott has, there's not much really questionable in his lineup that I would throw. He got Chuba Hubbard because I didn't want him. It's not that I didn't want him, but the end of season upside, I probably should have taken him, but it's fine. We'll see if I hate myself for it or not. Watch Royce Freeman just take over the backfield. Poor Scott. But no, we'll see. He has Javonte Williams on his bench. He chose to sit. I don't know what I was going to say there. AJ Green's still on his bench. It's not like he's really, like I said, it's not like he's just going to throw anything else in there. Looking over at Phil's team, still worried about Mike Davis, still worried about Miles Sanders. Allen Robinson has a quarterback that puts up negative 5.33 points. Ask Brandon Wagon all about that. Or Doug, because Doug has the minus 5.33 points, but Brandon Wagon will tell you all about it. I see you picked up Darius Leonard. Well, congratulations, you can have him. You know what he's doing? Nothing. Not a damn thing. Second linebacker off the board. Not a damn thing. Moving on. There's nothing really that's intriguing on your bench. Nothing. You have Ty Conklin, but that doesn't do anything for me. Living in last week with Myles Garrett in there now, taking out the Hassan Reddick. Okay, there's nothing really going on that's going to jump out at me right now. So we're just going to stop wasting time. I'm going to pick Scott to win. I have a list here. I just want to make sure that I'm accurate with it. I have Scott on this one. Okay. Moving on. We're going to move on to number 7, Ohftt, versus number 13, Joe. Ohftt is projected 192.6 to Joe's 170 even. Ohftt hasn't had anybody play yet. Joe has 8.33 points from his punter. Very important, 8.33 points. An under projection, because he 8.8, but it's fine. It's fine. 8.33 solid. Let's see what's intriguing. Ohftt has two Buffalo has the entire Buffalo Bills offense minus Josh Allen. He has Emmanuel Sanders, Stephon Diggs, and Devin Singletary. I don't like Devin Singletary, but it doesn't matter what I like. You have Tre'Davious White on the defense, Tyler Bass, the kicker. You have the Bills' defensive team. Jeez Louise. I know we drafted half of that for you. What else is intriguing to me? I worry about Jameis. I worry about Devin Singletary. I worry about having too many mouths to feed in that Buffalo's offense for you to start 3 of them. But, you're 2-1, so I can't question you too much. You have more points than me scored, so that's cool. But if Jamison Crowder plays, I probably would, try to put him in the flex or something. That's up to you. Jameis Winston, I have a Team Saints quarterbacks in the league with Will. It's not working out too well. We're 1-2. Yeah, we have a win there, I think. Do we have a win, Will? We might not. I don't know. Moving on. We have Joe over here. What's interesting about Joe's team? Well, he has a whole... Well, here's the interesting part. We have Ohftt's Bills versus Joe's Cowboys, because apparently Joe's a Cowboys fan. He doesn't have any defenders like Ohftt does. Maybe you should go find some, Joe, just to make it a little bit more interesting. Joe has Zeke, Tony Pollard, and CeeDee Lamb. I would prefer to have that combination than the Bills combination, but, he has Zach Moss. Look at that. We have ourselves a rivalry. We have the entire Bills minus Zach Moss and obviously Josh Allen versus the entire Cowboys with Zach Moss. It's just, I don't know. I'm just trying to make it interesting. I'm glad you put David John. You're trying. Okay. He really put Brandon Ayuk in the OP. Zach Wilson's gonna blow up on Sunday, right? Just because you did that. I would recommend not doing what you just did, but you're 1-2. Go for the dub. I have Ohftt winning this matchup, but I think it could be a lot closer than what the projections are saying. And I wouldn't be shocked if Joe got his first win or his second win this season. But I have Ohftt winning. That'll be all. Moving on, we have Doug, number 5 in the power rankings, versus Greg, number 10 in the power rankings. 167.1 for Doug. projection to 213.8 for Greg. Doug has scored 25.1 points from James Robinson alone, whereas Greg has put up 25.7 points combined. Joe Mixon 17.7 and Sam Hubbard, their defensive lineman, 8 points for the Bengals defensive lineman, and their slot defensive lineman for 8 points. So this is interesting. I think the projections are just out of. I get. Wow. Wow, that's very interesting. I was just checking. Like I was before when I was doing research and all that stuff. Wow. Dalvin Cook wasn't in there. They just set their lineup. Like they just did within the last hour. Wow, crazy. Changes everything. Actually, I'm not sure yet. Doug has Trey Lance starting this week. I don't think Sony Michel's really going to. He was on your bench last week. You left Tyler Boyd on your bench. Without T. Higgins, I would have started Tyler Boyd, but it's too late now. 21.8 points on your bench. That could have been a huge help for you. Gave you back-to-back wins with no starting quarterback. I would have sent you a trophy or something. Justin Fields on your bench, rightfully so. What do I think is going to happen here? Looking over at Greg's team, as I said, they put Dalvin in there. Assuming Dalvin plays, Greg is going to win. I mean, the projections are so skewed. I hate the defensive projections because they just throw things off. Actually, it doesn't even make a difference. It's just the projections are so bad because Doug doesn't have a starting quarterback, and he chose Sony Michel over Tyler Boyd, which really hurts. I have Doug written down on my notes, but I'm actually going to switch it to Greg. I didn't realize, I'm sorry, Doug. I love you, buddy. And I am so happy for what you did last week, but I just changed it to Greg. So I'm picking Greg this week. Sorry. Moving on, we have number 9 Kyle versus number 8 Brandwagon. This is battle for number 8 theoretically. Kyle is projected 179.7 to Brandwagon's 185.3. Kyle has 13.7 to Brandwagon's 5.4. Jamar Chase was the one to put up 13.7, and Marvin Jones Jr. disappointed with 5.4. So that's why they have that score. What's intriguing to me, I'd like to see Nick Chubb catch a football before anything else jumps out at me. I don't know why Dawson Knox is in your starting lineup. I mean, I guess I understand why, but it doesn't make me feel very good for you about it. I'd probably put Mark Ingram in there just because it's a flex, and he's just going to get rushes, even though he's not going to go anywhere, even though they're playing the Bills. Not that it matters what I'm saying, because it's just all theoretical, because it's your team, and you're 2-1 on your own. Shout out to you, Kyle. Looking over to Hobert's team. I'm sorry. Sorry, Brandwagon. I just got carried away. I don't know why. And Brandwagon's team, it's just Brandwagon's team's pretty good. I worry about that Marvin Jones 5.4. Leaving Myles Gaskin and Mark Andrews just has to be tough for Brandwagon each week. Not that I'd say that he's starting anybody else, but it's just tough. I worry about OBJ, but he did well last week, so people are optimistic. So shout out to OBJ for proving me wrong, I guess. I'm picking an upset here. Sorry, Brandwagon, but I'm on the Kyle train right now. Okay, Kyle's 2-1, and you're not. You're 1-2, unfortunately. I almost said that was wrong. I'm just on the Kyle train. Call it Kyle fever. Jungle Kyle, whatever you want to call it. I'm on Kyle right now. Kyle, if I don't love you enough, just know that I love you, because I'm giving you all the love here. And last week, not last week, but in the last video. But Brandwagon has such a high upside that I understand why Brandwagon could easily blow Kyle away. So that's all I'm going to say is Brandwagon has higher upside. I'm just picking Kyle. So go Kyle. Until you lose, I'm on Team Kyle. Unless you're playing me, then I'll probably pick me. But I digress. Moving on. We're moving on to number 3 Liam versus number 4 Cody. This will be matchup of the week because 3 versus 4. And I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, well, why is Cody number 4? Because Cody put up 154 points last week. I went through the last video and I told you because I said so. I'm giving myself one uh, asterisk, one swing and a miss, whatever. I can't think right now. I'm all hyped up on these matchups because just I'm recording these videos simultaneously, and I'm just still hyped from that last video. Moving on. So we have Liam projected 206.8 to Cody's 198.2. Cody has 13.5 points from Logan Wilson, the Bengals linebacker. So that's okay. That's 3.5 more points in projection. So I am satisfied with that. What else is intriguing? Okay, so this is a rematch, another rematch. Apologies if there has been another rematch from week 1. These are off the top of my head that I'm remembering. These are rematches. I only remember because I am very thankful that I survived this matchup in week 1 because Liam has been on a tear since then, and I am just thankful that it wasn't in week 1, and I am just hoping and praying that my team shows up this week. So, what am I worried about? I'm worried about Matthew Stafford because nobody can stop that offense. Derrick Henry because he's a freaking tank. DK, I want to take note that I won because because Derrick Henry didn't show up. It also won because DK Metcalf didn't really show up as well, and I have Russell Wilson and he threw a bunch of touchdown passes to Tyler Lockett. Big deal. Those are 2 game changers on his team. Two of his 3 keepers. And, I mean, Kareem Hunt put up 30 points last week. That's something to be worried about for me as well. So, those are his 3 keepers, and they all blew up last week and the week before. So, it's like, can they just not do that? And his defense doesn't really do anything crazy. He's probably not going to add or drop anybody or do anything spectacular. He did add Marquez Callaway off the waiver. Nothing else is going to really jump out at me. He put Julio on his IR. Look at that. That's why I added Marquez. My team, you guys know how I feel about my team. I have Jamal Williams. I went a lot more conservative. The Patriots are going to have to throw the ball against Tampa Bay. Jacoby Myers is in my lineup. 2 best tight ends, Darren Waller and Travis Kelce, even though Darren Waller didn't show up since week 1, really. Jamal Williams, hopefully I can get decent, play out of him this week. I like my defenders. I just need some more solidarity. My bench. I don't even want to talk about my bench. Just a bunch of guys with a bunch of upside throughout the season that aren't going to help me this week. Is essentially what's on my team. As much as I love my team and as much as I love picking me and all that stuff, for the sake of the record, I could easily see Liam beating me. So I have in my notes right here that Liam is winning against me. Now, if I am take an L on that, I'm okay because I'll be 4-0. But if I take the dub on that and I take the L in fantasy, it's salvage because I beat him in week 1, so it's fine. I don't know. I just kind of rambled there. Moving on. Good luck, Liam. I really hope that I get to be 2-0 against you this year because your team scares me every season. Moving on. We have number 16, Jay, versus number 11, Dylan. Dylan, this is the best chance you're going to have in a little while to get yourself your first dub. Actually, I haven't looked at the schedule, so I can't say in a little while. This is your first chance, your best chance all season, I feel like. Jay's projected 176.7 to Dylan's 192.7. Dylan has 33.17 already from Joe Burrow. Jay has not had anybody. Jay hasn't, Jay does set his lineup. Look at that. Jay's all up on, okay. He just didn't want to take Darrell Henderson out. He probably just missed it. That's unfortunate. And he put George Kittle in there as well. He's probably not going to make that mistake again. I don't know why Gus Edwards is even on your team anymore or not on IR. One of those two. I worry about your team a lot. You do have the upside to, put up the points, but your defenders are not doing any of that. So I worry that your team just isn't doing anything extra that other teams may be. Hence why, unfortunately, you put up 123 points last week and, the bottom of the power rankings. Just unfortunate. But you got a dub at least this season, so glass half full. Looking over at Dylan's team, Derek Carr, I do worry about Damian Harris. He's not going to run the ball against Tampa Bay, so hopefully they target him without James White, see if he can be an all-around back. I think he has a skill set. They just don't give it to him. Keenan Allen, Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson has no Claypool. I don't know what Juju's looking like, but you know, you have a solid team, Dylan. I just this is the week. I think this is the week you get your first dub, Dylan. Uh, I do have you picked to win this week, so good luck. All right, two more matchups and we're done. We're only 20 minutes, so we're doing good. Okay, we have number 14 Jerry versus number 6 Craig. Jerry's projected 170.7 to Craig's 186.9, 22.46 from Jerry, from Trevor Lords from Thursday night, which is better than the projection. So glass half full. Not exactly ideal for starting quarterback fantasy, but it's your first season, so we're struggling through. But I do have a surprise for you later. Your team has upside. Mike Evans, they're going to throw the ball all over New England. I'm telling you, Tom Brady's going to have 400 yards and 5 or 6 passing touchdowns. Mike Evans is the guy you want to have. CEH, great momentum from last week. Braxton Berrios, a PPR guy. I do worry if Jamison Crowder's there. Braxton Berrios is now irrelevant. TJ Hawkinson, James Conner just needs to get the goal line work, which the Rams defense is really good, so I worry about that. Taylor Heinicke, you have a solid offensive team, not solid enough to get you a win every week, but you have the upside to get yourself a couple wins. Looking over at Craig's team, Craig has an overall better team on paper. He has Najee, DeAndre Swift. I mean, I've gone through how many teams in this. His quarterback play is just as questionable as Jerry's, and that's why we'll get into why that's important. And he put the Steelers defense back in there. I think that's a bit scary. Craig is just cycling back up defenses. Wow. Okay, Craig. Just twiddling that defensive Rodgers against the Steelers. I would put a different defense in there. Cowboys defense ran hot. Great ad. It's great to see everybody using these IR spots as well. Not everybody, but Craig's got a full IR. Even Jerry's got 2 guys in his IR. But yeah, no. Corey Davis on Craig's bench. I don't know if I would start him over anybody he has in his starting lineup. At defense, Craig and his defenses. He kept the Steelers defense, and he's toggling them around all over the place. I love it. It's extremely intriguing. I do have Jerry as the underdog upset this week. I did pick Kyle to beat Brandwagon, but Jerry over Craig I feel like is a bigger upset. Like I said, the questionable quarterback play. And I'm not picking matchups. I mean, obviously, Trevor Lawrence put up 22.46. But Ben I am so worried. Jacoby Brissett, I mean, he's back in it. He's playing against Indy, so maybe it's a revenge game. I don't know. Heinicke, 24 projected for Jerry. So, I like the upside for Heinicke against Atlanta. So, that reason I'm picking Jerry to upset Craig. You get your first dub this week, Jerry. You're going to thank me afterwards. Unless you lose, you're going to probably hate me for getting you into fantasy football. Just taking all this negative energy of losses. Anyway, moving on to our final matchup of the week. We have number 12, Will, versus number 1, Eric. Will has 196.9 projection to 205.9 for Eric. Will currently has 7 points from Von Bell, safety from Cincinnati. And Eric has 8.92 points combined from his kicker from Cincinnati and the punter from Cincinnati. 4 for the kicker, 4.92 for the punter. Let's see here. What do I have? Okay. Eric. Well, I just read who I have winning this matchup. Eric is just on a hot streak. He has so much depth on his team. It's not fair for anybody. Actually, it's not that much depth. He just has Devontae Smith and Tyler Higbee on his bench. The rest of his guys are his other running backs on his bench are questionable just because Tevin Coleman and Le'Veon Bell. But everybody else on his lineup is just solid. Like if you can get if Eric can get himself solid defensive play throughout like 1 week, just to match what his offense can do, like just what I think his starting lineup could do on offense with a not star-studded, but just solid defensive play, I would put my money on Eric as being the first 300-point team this season. I'm not saying I am, but he has the upside to do it, I think, more than anybody else. On paper, I think Will could do it, but on paper is irrelevant. Scott could easily do it. I could easily do it. Not easily. I don't mean easily. I just mean like the teams at the top of my head that I can think of that could just Liam could do it without even blinking a sweat. Let's see. Eric, Scott, Liam, Cody. Will has. I mean, even 12 on the power ranking. Greg has the upside to do it. I mean, I don't think Greg is as likely to do it because they don't like cycle defenders and do the free agency and stuff. But anyway, I'm getting way too carried away with 300 points because that's just me. We haven't even hit 250 yet, so let's hit 250 before we can hit 300. But just wishful thinking. Who's going to be first to hit 250? I think Eric could be the guy. What's intriguing? There isn't really much intriguing. Just hopefully, I guess this is like one of the closest matchups as far as like top tier teams on paper. Because I keep saying this. Will's team, they just aren't performing. I mean, I thoroughly like Will's team. He finally puts Laviska Shenault on his bench and he has 17.25 points. I mean, he just can't win with making decisions. And we've been talking a lot about experts and things that I've been listening to, and I'm taking a pause on the experts because I'm just tired of hearing them because they're not talking. All I hear is I'm sorry I was wrong. I'm sorry I was wrong. I'm sorry. I get it. We all make mistakes. I've made a lot of fantasy mistakes in my life, but it has been like I listen to 6 or 7 podcasts off and on depending on what I want to listen to, and I just constantly it's like I'm sorry about this guy. I'm sorry about that guy. I should have seen this. I should have saw that. We this, we that, because there are multiple people on each one, and I'm just like I am tired of hearing it. I'm sorry. It's like, what do I listen to you guys for? I might as well start my own podcast and be wrong. It's like the weathermen. Jeez Louise, people getting paid to be wrong about everything. It is what it is, and I understand it's fantasy football. I'm just having a fun go at it. We always are wrong. We sometimes make right calls. I get it. I'm just giving you a hard time. It's just crazy that like Will's just Kyler Murray, Alvin Kamara, Michael Pittman Jr., Terry McLaurin, Robert Woods. Not that Trey Sermon's done anything, but Lamar Jackson. That's just the names on his list. I mean, again, it's names. Laviska Shenault on his bench, J.D. McKissick. Like last year, Will's gonna win a championship with this team. You know what I mean? Like it's mind blowing how crazy that stuff can happen. So anyway, after that long rant, and we're already 28 minutes and counting in, I'm gonna pick Eric with this matchup. Just to give a recap on who I'm picking, so that we're clear. I have Scott winning the rematch of the 2-time champs match. Hobert beating Joe, Greg beating Doug, Kyle beating Brandwagon, Liam beating Cody, Dylan beating Jerry beating Craig, and then Eric beating Will. If you guys have any questions, reach out. I made this video not ironically, they're whatever, it doesn't matter. I made it shorter than the other one. It wasn't as much excitement in this one, but please watch that other one if you haven't watched it. Tons of excitement. I actually think that's my best video so far. So I almost started yawning there. I know you guys noticed. And if you didn't, well, now I told you. So if you guys have any questions, as always, reach out. And you know what? If you guys enjoy my videos, hit the like button. Throw a comment in there. Hit that subscribe button. Because at some point the quality is going to get better, I promise. And we'll have graphics and it'll be great at some point. I don't have a timetable. I'm working on it. But and if there's anybody that's interested in being a tech person for free, reach out. All right, guys. Have a good one.